right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we will end the grad party speaking and we will begin. What is going on, everybody? Today we're back, and today it is time for yet another one. So as we kick off today's, we are going to get through, it's actually going to be probably shorter than usual because we have kind of less topics to talk about. We're going to look through the NFL Spring League meetings that have been taking place in Eagan over the past week and some of the rule changes. We'll also follow it up with predictions, and then we will follow that with football trivia. But before we get started with that, we're just going to give a quick little filming update. Where is the channel going? Well, guess what? We're not going to have an episode next weekend. And to be clear, we're also not going to have a pre-recorded one. So there's just simply not going to be anything next weekend. Because as some of you probably are going to be graduating with us, maybe if you don't know, we're going to be graduating high school next Saturday night. And then there's an all-night grad party that night. So we're going to be tired, and there's going to be grad parties on Sunday too. So we're just going to try and live it up Sunday. And sleep probably too, because who doesn't love that? So there's not going to be one next Sunday. And then the week after that, so 2 weeks from today, is the same day as my grad party, which is actually taking place over the time we film it. Therefore, there will not be one during that time. So beyond next week, we're not really sure what's all going to happen yet. But also June 1st is coming. As you know, that's the NFL's kind of league day for... how do I say it? Contract things. It's kind of confusing. Google June 1st and its significance, because I'm not going to explain it all. But that means things are going to happen on the Dalvin Cook front over the next probably week. So if things happen, we're going to try and probably find a weekday or weeknight that works where we can record an episode to talk about the Dalvin Cook trade and or cut and or anything else that happens, but nothing else probably will happen. And then maybe also during that episode, we can give more of a filming update. We might move to Tuesday nights we've talked about, but we can't say with 100% certainty yet that that's going to be the case. But we have talked about that. So we just want to let you guys know that we are entering a bit of a foggy stage of the channel where we don't really know where we're going to be going yet. But we're not ending. We're just taking a little bit of a break. Either way, not much happens in the summer anyways until training camp, which is the end of July. So... either way, there's not a whole lot for us to talk about, but we'll figure it out. As always, follow the social media pages, and we'll probably give updates there too. Maybe Big Lou will finally do something on Instagram for once.
I do some stuff on
No, you don't.
Not much.
No, you don't. But with that said, I think that's about it for the really boring news that we have. So now we are going to kick it off. So the NFL Spring League meetings have been taking place in Eagan over this past week. I believe it was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, if I recall. All the NFL owners were there. They got to vote on some rule changes. They got to not vote on some rule changes, but we're going to go through what they passed, some of the changes coming for this upcoming season. So we have 5 different things relating to that. We're going to talk about 3 of them are rule changes. The other 2 are just kind of things that we're going to throw out there and briefly touch on. But we're going to kick it off with probably the most interesting thing to come out of Eagan this past week, which is the new kickoff rules. Previously, on a kickoff, of course, if the ball is in the end zone or if they catch it in the end zone and kneel, anything goes out the back of the end zone, it's a touchback. Or if it goes out of bounds, well, in the field of play, so not the end zone, it goes to the 40. That part's not changing. But there is going to be changes. If you catch the ball, if you fair catch it, I should be specific with, if you fair catch it anywhere within the 25-yard line and back, so the end zone all the way up to your own 25-yard line, it's a touchback. So we're going to have some interesting takes here on this. Could it eliminate Kene Nwangu for the Minnesota Vikings, their lethal kick returner? Will his job be altered? So I'm going to let you guys share your opinion since I've done most of the talking so far. So pretty much, I gave the synopsis there. If you fair catch it anywhere within the 25, between the 25 and end zone, the ball automatically goes to the 25 no matter. So it pretty much negates returns unless you want to return it. So it's an easier way to advance the ball to the 25 without having to return. So yeah, I was going to share another thought, but I'll let you guys go because I said I was going to. So you guys can take it away.
I personally don't necessarily like this rule because I feel like it takes a bunch of what part of kickoff is away from it. Because you usually have the return, whatever, you have a chance to kind of pin them deep inside their end zone, especially if it's a good kick kind of on the 10-yard line. But with this rule now, you can just fair catch it there and get it at 25. I just see kickoffs becoming kind of boring per se anymore. Like, they're uneventful. They will be. Seems like we won't have like any returns this year. It seems like with that rule, but
You know, it kind of feels like the NFL every year finds a way to take the athlete out of the game, and that's what they're doing with this one too. This is an absolutely atrocious rule change. I can't even believe that they did this. Now, tons of players, you know, specified return men like Kene Nwangwu, the Nixon dude for the Packers, they don't play on offense or defense. Special teams is their only way to play, and now they're taking that player out of the game. So now this might open up an opportunity for maybe Brandon Powell or Jalen Reagor to start returning kicks. Honestly, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but Kene Nwangwu is now, he's in a tough spot. His only real value that he provides to the Vikings is as a kick returner. So we're just going to have to see where this one goes with him. But I feel bad for the guy. This is tough.
So this is kind of interesting. I agree with what you guys say, but on the same way, I think it could be maybe even be viewed in a different way as well. Because with Kene, like we just talked about, that could kind of eliminate some of his role of kick returns. But also, I think in a way that'll weed out some of the bad kick returners in the league, and maybe it'll make Kene more valued for teams that do want to have kick returns and want to have explosive plays like that. Maybe it could, in a way, make him even more valued if you think about it. But also, it does make sense the other way, so it just depends how teams want to approach it. But one of the things I was also thinking about is how this will change kickers a lot, because obviously kickers don't want to give up big kick returns, so why not just have kick returners just booted out of the end zone? I mean, that's kind of what's been going on for years now, but I think it's just going to happen even more and more now. But then again, now back to what I just said, if kickers are booting it out of the end zone, then again that negates the value of Kene. So it's weird. If you think about it both ways, it kind of makes sense. But if I was a team playing against Kene, why wouldn't you just boot it out of the end zone so he can't even have a chance at all? So the more that I say it, the more I actually think you guys are more correct than what I was saying. I think it will definitely degrade his value.
The only positive I actually see in this rule is the possibility that it'll decrease injuries. I know the XFL did something with kick returns as well, where they had players line up way in much different spots, you know. So maybe they're trying to do something like that without completely copying the XFL, but still, you can't take the athlete out of the game. Injuries are just going to happen. That's just how football is. And you know what? If a player gets injured, then it happens, you know? So they kind of they have to let the players play the game, and they're not letting them do that. This is embarrassing for the NFL.
yeah, what I saw is there were 7 kick returns for a touchdown last year, which seems relatively low from like previous years or whatever. Because you used to see like, especially when was it Cordell Patterson was on the Vikings?
Mm-hmm.
What, he had like 4 in 1 year or something like that. You never see that anymore with like the changing rules and everything. So they're kind of taking that portion of the game away necessarily. And those are always like super fun to see in like a game, to see it get a return, because can really turn the game upside down. And you're kind of taking that away, where it's basically like, oh, you just get the ball at 25-yard line per se. So it's going to be very few like people that are going to actually return it, especially when they catch it at like the 10, 15-yard in line. They're just going to want to take it safe, and the coaches are wanting to take it safe. Just get it at 25. We'll start from there. Don't bother returning it, because we could end up shorter than that too. So, yeah, I don't know. This will be a interesting and weird rule.
To the point of Big Lou, I actually looked, and I was able to only find 5 players with kick return touchdowns last year. Cordero Patterson, Kene Nwangwu, Keyshawn Nixon, Devin Duvernay, and Nyheim Hines. And Nyheim Hines was the only one with multiple, and he had 2. And I believe they were in the same game, if I recall that one. But
I believe on the next page there's 1 or 2.
Oh, maybe there was more. I guess I didn't scroll everywhere.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, you see the point. It's rare that it happens, and either way, the NFL's just going to a point. I can bet you right now that within 5 years of me saying this, there's not even going to be kickoffs anymore. they're just going to a point where it's not going to happen. They're just going to say, all right, we're going to start the offense at the 25. And it's just sad to see that because it's going to take away so many guys' jobs. But I think it's just what the NFL wants to do. It'll reduce injuries, and I get that. But it will just take a lot of guys out of jobs in the NFL. So I guess I don't know about you guys, but that's just how I see the future of the NFL is that kickoffs just won't exist coming in the coming years.
Not quite sure about 5 years, but 10, 15, I could 100% see that coming.
I agree with you guys, unless the Vikings switched, or like that, not the Vikings, the NFL switched something more like the XFL ones, where they line up kind of right, like at almost like 10 yards in front of the returner, and it gets kicked to the returner, and they go there, so they're not at like complete full speed colliding into each other like that. But we'll see what the NFL decides to do. They're really taking the athlete in those positions out of the game right there.
And here's the thing. I can say from experience on a traditional kickoff, whether you're on the return team or whether you're on the kickoff team, I've been on both in multiple occasions throughout my 4 years of high school football. I've been decked a couple times. It hurts. You know, I almost got knocked out one time. I got head-to-head blindsided by a guy from Hutchinson, but that happens. That's just what happens. And kickoff, I've never had more fun in a game. I played safety. I enjoyed kickoff a lot more than I enjoyed playing on defense. It was so much fun to just sprint down the field, and you know, if a returner drops the ball, you know, you get that extra oomph in your stride, and it's so much fun to just fly down the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I don't know like what the percentages or like injuries are on this, but I'm guessing that's like, I know in probably high school and college, you see a lot of injuries probably on kickoff returns, don't you? Because we've had a handful of them here at our school, like Grayson.
Well, yeah, I
can
can recall Grayson. He tore his MCL on one, and you know that's the only one I can really think of right now. I mean, I got hit pretty hard on a couple of them, and that happens, but the thing is these guys are not some like little child playing football. These are grown men. You know, these guys are 230 plus pounds. That's dangerous, obviously. But let's be honest. What percentage of kickoffs actually result in at least one player being injured? It's not that high. You know, it's not worth taking the athlete out of the game.
Well, yeah, and you get it. Two people going full on into each other. It's, you know, maybe concussions here and there, but with the high technology and helmets now, those are even becoming less. And yeah, it just seems like they're lowering events or like the action in the game.
It's just really upsetting to see the NFL heading in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, another thing though that we should also address the fact that we look like bozos here because he has his computer. He won't have that one next week. He's rolling with an iPad, and I'm rolling with my phone. Yeah, we had our laptops we used to use were school issued, but we had to turn them in. So we do kind of look like hooligans out here now on the desk, but that's okay. Eventually we'll have our college computers, but that's not yet. So, but another thing that I was going to say with this, I think it's interesting that they're making these changes to the kickoff, but they still didn't touch the onside kick. I know they've talked a lot about it over this year and last year too, but here I found during the 2022 regular season, 56, I'll cover my phone so you guys can't look at this, 56 onside kicks were attempted. How many do you guys think were successful out of 56?
Wasn't it? I don't think there's a single recovery, if I remember correctly, till like week 15 or something. So I'm guessing it was only like one or two.
I'm going to say two.
Well, you guys were close. The correct answer is 3. 3 of 56, which is a rate of 5.3%. Now, I mean, I think we can all agree onside kicks are one of the most boring things in existence because it's very, very unlikely that your team is going to recover it. So I just think it's a bit interesting, though, that they changed the kickoff rules, but they didn't touch the onside kick. But either way, the onside kick, I think that one also in the next few years will be changed as well.
Yeah, because it seems like it'd be more eventful if you had like a 50-50 chance of getting it. Or even like a 40-60 chance. Like you had to actually have some skill in it. This is kind of just like all luck of like, oh, their team messed up. That's
even
all it is.
20% would be astronomically better.
Because you don't even have like you have a super small chance of getting the ball back and making the game more interesting. You think the NFL would want a higher percent chance of an onside kick recovery to get more action-packed endings, which probably would increase views. You think they would want something like that. But with this, it's just kind of like, if they're up by like 2 scores, like, oh, game's over, might as well stop watching now.
Yeah, I think eventually the NFL is just going to move to, like, I don't know if it's the XFL or USFL that uses like the 4th and 15 or 20.
XFL.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're going to roll with that maybe. I don't think they'd go 15. I think they're going to go 20 or 25. So the chances still aren't high because obviously you don't want to make it too you don't want to gift the opportunity, to the team that's down.
They should
which is the only worry I have is that a team's going to convert, they're going to go down and score, win the game, and then the other team's going to look at it like, bro, we should have won that game. And I understand that too. Because under previous rules, that would have never probably happened.
I would say that they should do a 4th and 25 from their own 10.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Keep the chances low. Obviously not like super duper
honest.
low, but yeah, like the idea of a 4th and 15 to me, that feels like too doable.
Here's the thing. Even if they do get the 4th and 25, like, are they really going to be able to drive it another 65 yards down the field? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what would be interesting? If they gave the defense an extra defender. Like, made it 12 on 11.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
4th and 15 with an extra defender.
Yeah.
Big Lou is coming up with a great idea.
That would
Whoa.
be very interesting. Because you give
That's
the
a great
defense a higher advantage, but you also have the offense a chance. That would be very cool.
Wait, so did you throw out a yardage with that 4th and what?
I didn't say
Or
yards,
not
but
really.
just give them
I guess I said
4th and 15 probably. Give them an extra
That's
defender.
actually, Big Lou, that might have been the greatest idea you've ever had on here.
That might be the greatest idea you've ever had.
I might
in
have
general.
to. I might have to we might have to find a way to get.
We got to contact Roger Goodell.
Let's get Goodell on the podcast, and we'll suggest this to him.
If you are watching this and you know Roger Goodell, please put us in contact with him.
Like a 4th and 15 with 12 defensive men, or even 11 defensive men, and only have 10 offense.
Well,
I think they'd roll 12 on.
Yeah,
I think they'd roll 12 on 11.
But that would be extremely interesting to watch.
That would be. That's a great idea, actually. All right, so I think we've pretty much voiced our opinion on that, unless anyone's got a final thought that they want to follow us up with. But we're now going to move into the second major rule change that existed, and it's kind of an interesting one. So, as we saw last year, back in January it would have been, in the NFC Championship game, the San Francisco 49ers had a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. But Brock Purdy was injured. Trey Lance, he was hurt too, right? I believe. They were both hurt.
And Jimmy Garoppolo as well.
Garoppolo as well. So where are they going to go at quarterback? Well, they went nowhere other than they threw, I believe they just threw McCaffrey out, and then they threw Purdy out there just to really do nothing. He was just kind of there to be there.
Well, just because he knew the plays and
They pretty much just ran run plays and short tosses because that's really all they could do. Mm-hmm. So the NFL has countered that by making a new rule stating that a team can have an emergency third quarterback, but it is a little more, it goes below the surface than just that. It's a bit confusing, but I'll explain it to the best of my abilities. If you're unfamiliar, NFL rosters are, of course, 53 players. Out of that 53, on game day, there can only be 48 active players, which is why inactive reports come out. So, with this said, I believe it would up it to 49 players for the game day. So instead of it being the game day 48, it'd be the game day 49, but the extra player would have to be a quarterback, and that quarterback would have to be on your roster. I believe that was how I interpreted it when I read it. So, I think this is... I'm going to just start this one off since you guys did last time. I think this is a good move they made. Again, it can be seen as kind of a helping hand to the 49ers just because we saw what happened. But overall, I think it's a good move. It would have made the game more entertaining. It would have given the 49ers more of a shot rather than they just kind of sat there because they couldn't do much. So I think it's a good thing. I also think it's going to make roster construction a bit more interesting now that teams may have to have 3 quarterbacks on, because historically the Vikings haven't always had 3 quarterbacks. We assume, well, the Vikings obviously are going to have Kirk Cousins. They're more than likely going to have Sean Mannion, Nick Mullins as the backup. And now, of course, they have Jaron Hall too. So for them to have the third quarterback, Jaron Hall would have to make the 53, which I think would have happened anyways because they wouldn't be able to sneak him through waivers to practice squad. But for other teams, maybe this is a bit more of an interesting question. If they drafted a low end quarterback, but they don't want him to get poached by another team, so they throw him to the practice squad. But now maybe you can't do that because you want him active on your roster. So I think it's a good move to make, and I think it, like I said, I think roster construction might get a bit more interesting now in the coming years.
So I do like the rule change here, especially in like the Niners situation here when they ran out of quarterbacks. But I also think that quarterback should be like a quarterback in another position combo, kind of like what the Saints did with that one quarterback who was super fast.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. Like you kind of have him as almost like a receiver quarterback combo, so you can play him as a receiver, but also have a backup quarterback there.
Big Lou, you are on fire today, baby.
Cephas Johnson.
Taysom Hill, the next Taysom Hill, the reincarnation.
Cephas Johnson.
But
is he going to beat out Jaron Hall?
But
no.
I guess you would.
Would they risk like someone that doing that, like have a receiver kind of be beat up all game and then maybe throw him in as quarterback at the end?
The Saints do.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, he's officially a tight end, but he's not really a tight end.
But he plays running back,
anything
fullback,
possible.
wide receiver,
Yeah, so why not have it kind of be like a combo position, like kind of a flex in like a fantasy football where it can be like anything?
See, that could be cool if you could have a player that plays two, like quarterback and another position. That would be cool. However, I don't think any player is going to be a third string quarterback and also like another position. That's really tough.
I think it's just simply rare that a case like
your type of like Taysom Hill. Any like your intelligence needs to be off the charts to be able to do that.
I mean, yes, but when you're the quarterback, you understand like all the routes everyone's running and everything.
That's
per se.
true, but you got to think
as
of
a
the
receiver,
players.
you can like actually go and execute the routes you know as a quarterback.
The thing for me though is that need to know like you have to understand the players that have done this before, that have played multiple positions. It's like Patrick Peterson played wide receiver for a couple times. J.J. Watt has played tight end a couple of times. I mean, I can hardly think of it. Taysom Hill. It's just difficult to think of players. I mean, I guess Rob Gronkowski played safety for one play and just he tripped and fell and the Miami Miracle happened. But there's just not many players that can do what Taysom Hill can do.
Well, yeah, even if you get like someone who is like a high school, college, that can actually like throw the ball and execute some basic plays as a complete emergency backup, that may be what you do. Like, but they're listed technically as kind of a quarterback, but also primarily a different position.
I guess the only player like that I can think of would have been Julian Edelman, who played quarterback in college, I believe, and played wide receiver in the NFL, and maybe Jacoby Myers, who also played quarterback in high school, I think.
Yeah.
And then played wide receiver in the NFL. But
you get someone like that who can throw basic pass, just kind of like maybe give them like 10 passing plays or something that they can run as the back of emergency. That's what I could really think about.
But the thing for me is they need to know the whole playbook. They absolutely must, because if they're coming in, they're in an emergency situation. So
yeah,
that's tough, but I don't know if that's going to happen very much. But yeah, this third quarterback rule is going to be absolutely amazing. If any team is ever in a situation like the 49ers were, it's going to be so much more helpful. It'll prevent injuries. It'll be really nice.
Well, not necessarily prevent injury, just give a team a fighting chance when injuries inevitably happen.
Here's the thing. If Christian McCaffrey actually had to throw passes for the 49ers, I mean, he's not used to getting, blindsided by whoever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be tough. It was tough when they had to throw position players in to play quarterback, but now that they don't have to do that, that's going to be nice.
Well, you think you got a third string quarterback that doesn't see any game time, they may end up getting injured too, but
possibly.
I guess that's what only one team has ever gone through all their quarterbacks, the Niners, really. Maybe a handful of other teams throughout the entire history, but
I got another kind of interesting idea. What if teams did that and they elevated, because typically this isn't always the case, but usually your third quarterback on your team is just a young player that you're kind of trying to develop, or they're just like a late round flyer, whatever. What if teams put that third quarterback in, and if they're getting absolutely blown out, they can just get him some game experience? That's another idea that could happen too.
Or have him
It's
be
kind of
your
like what
kicker
high
or
school
punter.
does. It's kind of like what high school does.
Put
You
the
know,
JV
when
in.
you're way up, you put the JV in, or if you're way down, you put the JV in. That's honestly what they should do.
Or put, like, Vikings case, put Ryan Wright in there because he threw a pass last year.
I wouldn't want him as a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm
No,
just
but
gonna
you
be
give him
honest.
some training because you got punters and kickers. They don't really need to know a lot of plays or anything.
That's true.
They have them be the emergency quarterback.
You could,
But,
but you get that extra spot for an emergency quarterback.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's the entire point of this rule, is that you don't have to have another player that plays something else be your quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with that, but it'd be interesting to have that combo player there.
So I think we all kind of found some loopholes, but I think I think we all kind of agree here. It just
Yeah.
makes sense for the league to do something like this, just in case in an emergency situation. Hopefully that would never happen, but if it does happen, we can see something. We can see an extra quarterback that's not just Christian McCaffrey out there, so that your team isn't completely toasted. With that said, we have another one. This is actually, I'd say this is a really interesting one that got a lot of negative reviews, and I'll already say I'm a part of it. The Thursday Night Football, Monday Night Flex rules. So I'll have to find the specifics because I guess I don't quite recall the specifics. But for Thursday night games between weeks 12, I think, and 17 or 16, I think it's that window. And for Monday night games between maybe that same week window too. But I think he's maybe pulling it up here. Maybe it's not up there. Wait, go up. Nope, go down now. It might be in here. Oh, wait. Okay, Monday Night Football, weeks 12 through 17, and Thursday night doesn't look like they updated, so that still might be kind of old.
Thursday night, it may be used up to twice between weeks 13 and 17.
Okay, so this is the whole point of this rule, is to eliminate awful Thursday Night Football games from the schedule, because we had plenty of those last year, and so they're trying to take those away. But also, we should say, for Thursday Night Football games, the team has to have, I believe, like at least 3+ weeks advance notice for a game to be moved. For Monday night, it's at least 2 weeks or something around that parameter there. So I'm going to start it off by saying Monday Night Football Flex is bad. Thursday Night Football Flex is worse. Here's the thing. I think of it, Thursday night is more on the players. Monday night, I think of it more on the fan side. If you're, let's just say right now I'm looking, there's this game, there's this Sunday game I want to go to late in the year. Let's go to it. And then suddenly it gets closer to the game, and then they flex it to a Monday night, and now I'm not available. Okay, well, that kind of just screwed you over because you were available, but now you're not available. I guess that does work the same for Thursday night too. But when I think of Thursday night, I just think of how awful it is on the players. Thursday night football shouldn't exist. They should get rid of it. And maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree. A lot of fans do agree with that. But it's just not good for the players, for fans. I mean, Thursday night football is just kind of not always the best football. Even if you have good teams in it, it's still not the best football. Definitely not good for players. So I think this is one where I just think the NFL screwed up. This is one that the owner should not have allowed this to happen.
Well, I get where they're saying because they want to have good games on those days because then, like, everyone wants to watch those games and then get a lot of views for those. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, well, you said, like, the ticket holders, like, whoever has those tickets can get shafted on here. Or if they're playing on, like, a Monday night and get flexed back to, like, a Sunday, screws up all the schedules there. And it's just, like, yeah, even with the, like, 2 to 3 weeks notice, it's just kind of like, why? And then adding to your thing, like, Thursday night football shouldn't exist. I agree with that. Like, you're coming off, you play on a Sunday, then you have, like, really Monday, Tuesday to get ready, and you got to walk through Wednesday plus travel time Wednesday, Thursday to get there at Thursday night. That's just a really quick turnaround, and it's hard on the players' bodies. And you really think about that, move that to like a Saturday or something, that may be able to help prevent some injuries too, with the rest in there.
I think if they did Thursday nights, it should only be after a team had their bye week. Either way, the better option would still be no Thursday night football. They should just keep it to Sundays and Mondays. But it's just too bad they can't have games Fridays and Saturdays until late in the year because that's just by law they can't do that. Because they can't block out the high school and college games. They can't take over those nights until mid-December. But so it's too bad they can't do games those nights. But either way, I mean, like, it's just bad on the players and fans. Who really wants to just watch Thursday night football? I get, like, hardcore fans do. I do, I guess, if I'm home. But like I said earlier, I don't know how really clear I made this point, so I'll try and kind of make it again. I feel like even if you put good teams in it, though, the players are still going to be worn down, so the game's still not going to be good anyways. It doesn't matter how good the teams are because it's the players more than the actual teams, and the players aren't going to be playing good. At least that's just how I look at it, is it doesn't matter what teams are playing. It's going to be bad football probably no matter what.
To your point that you said there earlier that teams should play after their bye week, that'd be interesting. Like, the teams that have their bye week play on the Thursday and then have the rest of the Sunday off, so they kind of split up that week half and half. That would be interesting and kind of a neat thing to do. But
I think we should just get Goodell here. We can tell him all these ideas. Schedule ideas. We can talk about the flexing. We can talk about the kickoff one, and the extra defender rule. Those are all great ideas. So Goodell, come out here sometime. Come out to our small town in Minnesota and be with us sometime. But I don't know if you got any thoughts on that unless we covered it up, Sam. But I mean, I think we kind of concur here that it's just not great.
I don't really have an opinion just because I don't really understand scheduling as well as you guys do.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't really care.
I mean, it's just the fans are
Like,
awful for fans.
Changing game times is stupid. That's just what I think.
I think flexing should only exist for Sundays. Sundays even is sometimes hard, but Sundays isn't too bad because it's the same day, so it's not as big of a deal. But like a Monday is a different day, and Thursday is a lot different because it's 3 days difference.
yeah, I get it for Sunday night football because that's like the big game of the week. You want to have a really good show up Sunday night football. I get having like that flexed, but then they shouldn't just they should just go week by week almost on that and say, like, or give them like 3 weeks ahead saying, this is the game that's going to be Sunday night football. In 3 weeks, you have a chance to prepare that game then. But
yeah, I mean,
you never know.
Historically, Sunday night football has just simply kind of been a pinnacle of the NFL. Especially just when you compare it to the other primetime games, Sunday night's a lot bigger of a deal. So that's why they can move it and good games. And I understand that, but I mean, let's be honest, no one would pick Thursday night football or Monday night football over a Sunday night game.
Even a Sunday morning game wouldn't be that bad. Like, start at like 10 a.m. Eastern. You know what I mean? Like, I know that games start at noon normally, but then you can have more teams play. You know, people can wake up at what's that here, 8 a.m.?
Yeah, well, of what?
Still, but then you got the East Coast there. They're at what?
It would have to be
7 a.m.
It would have to be East Coast games.
It would have to be an East Coast game.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you could play in the East Coast time zone. You don't have to play at home.
But here's one of the problems though with that. If they did, let's just say a 9 a.m. Central Time kickoff, that would be 7 a.m. for the West Coast. Ooh, would fans really wake up at 7 a.m. to watch a football game? I wouldn't think so, but.
Well, and
maybe.
The players are kind of on that schedule, so the players over there really think it's kind of like a 7 a.m., and that may be really early for them, whereas the teams on the East Coast, that's like a 9 a.m. game for them, their sleep schedules and all that.
Well, I think we're talking about
different.
Only an East Coast game taking place early.
Half of these East Coast stadiums aren't going to be being used, every week. So let's get the U side of them. Get players over there. It's better for the players. It's better for at least East Coast and Central Time Zone fans rather than Thursdays. But I don't know. Thursdays there's only 1 game, 2 games anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, start your day off. You get a cup of coffee. You go and you watch the Bears and the Packers playing at the Jet Stadium or something like that.
I think they could only have a game hosted by the East Coast because that'd take away home field advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can't do that, so.
Because that's just like the fan atmosphere is what you really have, especially like conference games like that. you got that home field advantage atmosphere. That's what really gets you.
I was just using.
So just think about like this would never happen, but just think about like a Bills Chiefs game in KC at Arrowhead. Think about the atmosphere, and then think about moving that game to New York. Like it's not the same. That takes away part of the game. But I mean, we just have some. Yeah, so that's our kind of our interesting thoughts there on the flex. We kind of don't agree with it for the most part, and Thursday Night Football shouldn't exist anyways. So that said, we are now going to move to kind of two quicker ones, and it's just simply the fact that Super Bowl 55, which I believe is in 2025, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong on that one. It's 2 or 3 years from now, is going to be in Santa Clara, California, home of the San Francisco 49ers. They actually did have one Super Bowl there. I'm trying to recall. It might have been I could be wrong, but I think it was the Broncos. 2026. Okay, so it'll be spring of 26. February 26. I think the Broncos-Panthers game might have been there from Super Bowl 50, but I could be wrong on that one. But
yeah, I don't think it was 50. It was.
I think it's. I'm trying to recall. It might be the Superdome this upcoming year. I kind of forget it. I'll figure it out when the season comes around.
It was Super Bowl 50 on February 7th, 2016.
Boom! Wow. That was the Panthers and Broncos. So I remember it because I remember they got gifted that game before the stadium was even like. They were still building it, and they already got it gifted to them.
The Vikings kind of had that situation that they got gifted the Super Bowl before the stadium was complete.
Yeah, that could have been. But the Super Bowl there would have been 2020? No, that would have been 2019. Well, 2019 season, it would have been 2020. No. That would have been 18, because that would have been the Case Keenum year. I'm thinking of the wrong year. So that would have been 2018. February of 2018 would have been the year the Super Bowl was there. And the stadium was only open in 2016. And they usually book, like we said, like 3+ years out. So
Super Bowl 52, 2017 season.
Yeah,
so yeah.
Say, didn't we have Kirk 2018, 2019 season?
Yeah. So yeah, that probably would have been before stadium opened then, because it opened in July
2017 season, so it would have been
July 2015 was when U.S. Bank Stadium opened. So yeah, so that's that. Also, the NFL draft, not this upcoming year, which would be 2024, but the 2025 draft will be in Green Bay, Wisconsin, home of maybe Big Lou and the Cheeseheads. Any thoughts on that?
I will be going to school in Wisconsin.
Maybe you'll have to go down there. That'd actually be really cool though, to go to the draft.
Maybe.
That would be cool.
I bet it's expensive.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how the whole like system works though.
Because it seems like, isn't it like divided into sections? Like there's certain fans here, like Packers fans here, Vikings fans
and
here,
I think
Bears
only
fans
20 players
actually
walk.
I could be wrong, but I think this is how it works. But I could be wrong on this. I think a fan can apply to the team to be in the fan section, and they only accept so many people because they can only have so many people in each section. And then I'm sure there's just like general admission in the back where you're way out in the boondocks and you can't see. So
Randy Moss jersey flicked off the cameras this year.
Yeah, you probably have to wear your binoculars to see anything going on in the back. But
to be honest,
that's probably how it works.
I'd rather sit at home, like watching it. You'd probably get better than being actually there.
Plus, you get to watch highlights when you're at home. So.
Yeah. Yep. You get the full experience. But I mean, if the draft's ever in Minneapolis, and I think it will be, it's not officially going to be, but I mean, it will be within probably the next 7 years. It'll probably be here. I'll go. I'll try to go. Can't say with 100% I'll go, but I think we should all go. It'd be a good time.
Rent a hotel like right there and just overlook it from the hotel room.
I don't think that's gonna work, but
no, it wouldn't. But it'd be kind of sweet if that could happen.
Also, so you guys know, the draft this upcoming March, so about a year from now, is going to be in Detroit. So there you go. Detroit deserves it. They're cool. We like the Lions. I like the Lions. I don't have any issues with them. But I think that kind of does it for that. So we are going to head into our next stuff, which is predictions. So there you guys go. Boom. Now you guys can see the board here. That is all of our predictions. I will scroll over. You can see what's still on the board. The black is what we're about to unveil. As we scroll over, we got the listener predictions, but we don't have a listener here today. We are hopefully going to have more guests on, though, over the summer. But we'll kind of communicate that more as we get there. There is our standings right there. And then there is our football trivia standings, which we're going to have 3 players actually coming up in a little bit. But first, we're going to kick it off with predictions. Therefore, does anybody want to get us kicked off first?
Yeah, I can do it. I got a couple fun ones this year. Or this
year.
This week.
Yeah.
Big Lou, you should not talk.
No, but it's funny when someone else does it.
All right, so I'm going to start with this bottom one here because this one's kind of it's a fun one. I'm going to say that Justin Jefferson will have 3 or more rushing touchdowns this year.
That is an interesting one there.
Interesting.
That's what I'm saying. It's interesting. It's fun.
If that one hits, I would actually be really impressed.
Some jet sweeps.
I'd love Kevin
Well,
Edwards.
I got to check because he had
Some
a
J-Jet
good amount
sweeps.
last year. Or over the past couple of years.
He lined up in the backfield. I remember for sure in the Packer game he caught a touchdown from being lined up in the backfield because then he was one-on-one with a linebacker.
Well, I'm saying
recall
like in a
that.
jet
No,
sweep.
I know what you're
2 or
saying.
3.
I know what you're saying, but I just recall him lining up in the backfield at least once, but Trey's done it more than that.
So let's see. Rushing over his career, he has 1 touchdown. He had over his career, he's had 11 carries for 40 yards and 1 touchdown.
He had 11 carries? Holy
Yeah,
smokes.
he had one.
I remember his
rookie
touchdown.
year.
I'm pretty sure it was against New Orleans and London this past year. If I
think
recall,
you're right.
I think that's when it was.
So yeah, he had 1 carry his rookie year, 6 the next year, and 4 the next year. So
Okay.
he's
I like
also
that. Starting it off bold.
4 for 6 passing with 69 yards.
Nice.
I like Sam here. He's starting off strong.
Yeah, we're going bold this time.
He's going for the touchdown here. So, Big Lou, you want to go next,
Sure.
or you want me?
I'll go with a decently bold one, by the boldest one I have. It would be my third one on there, Sam. Justin Jefferson will have 1,000 or more yards by the end of his 8th start this year. In case he has like an injury or two in there, misses a game or two, by the time he's done with his 8th start, he will have 1,000 yards or more this season.
Interesting one there. I think that's
All right.
actually kind of tough. That's only halfway through the year, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that would be...
Well, that
He's
goes on
about
track with your 2,000 receiving yards
Yep.
at season end.
About an average of like 130 yards a game around. I think that's completely possible for
All right.
Justin.
I'm going to kick it off with my second one that I have listed on
Okay.
there, which is perfect because we just talked about this city, which is the city of Detroit. I had some schedule predictions last year, and I'm going to follow it up with another one this year. The Vikings and Lions Week 18 game will be played on Sunday Night Football, with the division probably on the line, playoff seeding also probably on the line as well. I said this last week, and now I'm going to make it official and put it on the board. Vikings and Lions will be the regular season closer.
All right. So for my next prediction, it's another semi-football related one. I don't know. It's another weird one, but I'm gonna say that at least 2 Vikings will wear an axiom this year. And if you guys don't know what the axiom is, it's a new. Joel will look up a picture here. It's the newest football helmet. Maybe look up Ezekiel Elliott.
I have a wait. I have to go over there for the keyboard, but this might work. Is this gonna work? Axiom football helmet.
Oh,
Boom.
that's crazy.
Fancy.
That was so much better than me having to go
So
over there.
maybe, yeah. So it's that new one right there. So you've probably seen players wear it. Ezekiel Elliott wore it. Tony Pollard. Yeah, there's one of Zeke down below there.
Oh, I see it right here.
Yeah. I know Leighton Vander Esch also wore one. Trying to think here. I guess I don't really know who all wore them. But
What's like the major benefit of this for the
So-
listeners?
so it's what's the major benefit of what?
Like the helmet, like
Okay, so with the prior Rydell helmet known as the Speed Flex, it only has the crown cushion, which will protect you from head-to-head hits right on the crown of your helmet.
Which it looks like this
one also
player
has
here is
cushions.
wearing that.
Yeah. This one also has cushions on the sides, so it'll protect from hits from the sides. So it's kind of like an air cushion.
okay, it's just more padded.
I myself had a Speed Flex, and they're incredibly comfortable.
The GOAT Kirk Cousins actually wore that helmet right there
wonder
for
if you could
one
look
day
it
of
up.
practice, and then he's back to his Speed Flex.
I wonder if you could look up Kirk Cousins' axiom. You should try that.
I can try it. All right, let's. Kirk Cousins axiom.
Oh my god.
I don't know if there might not be a picture of it. Because it was in practice. It was Monday of last week, with the first day of OTAs. So none of these look like practice pictures.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Up on the left. Right there on the left.
There it is.
Kirk Cousins actually wore an Axiom for one day.
So there it is. Kirk Cousins wearing an Axiom for one day, and then he
Dark
switched.
helmet.
And then he switched right back to what we got right there, which is the Speed Flex.
Yes.
I was actually going to make a prediction about him wearing an Axiom, and then I scrapped it because it would have been way too obvious. All right, so with that said, Big Lou is next up.
All right, my next one is also a Justin Jefferson prediction, and it's the top one there, Sam. And Justin Jefferson will be one of the 2023 captains for the Vikings.
It's the top one you said?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Kind of talked about this before we were on air. Normally, the team has 8 captains, and they think he'll be a captain. I said we'll see.
Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook were 2 of them, and those 2 will probably not be on the roster this year. So I have a feeling Justin Jefferson, being one of the better players on the offense, and I think well respected by his teammates, will fill one of those spots.
Big Lou, I think that you're right. I think there's a high probability that Adam Thielen will not appear in a Vikings game this year.
Well, yeah, whatever.
You think?
Yeah. Well,
believe it or not, he will appear in a Viking game.
He just will not appear in a Vikings uniform.
He will not be in a uniform, but he'll be in a game. Yeah, I think JJ and Darrisaw are going to take.
Not what I said, it's what I meant.
Maybe it'll be more, but we'll see. So with that said, I'm going to head to the one that for me is on the top of the board. It is the replacement one for my one about Kirk Cousins wearing a speed flex, and it is about a player who is a starting safety, also one of the most respected players on the team. His name is Harrison Smith. So my prediction right there is Harrison Smith will have at least 1 sack in week 1 of this season. We've seen the Brian Flores defense. We know it's going to be moving. There's going to be a lot of moving parts. It's going to be really, really interesting. He's going to use the safety blitz, I feel like, a fair amount. Week 1, right out of the gate, Harrison Smith, at least 1 sack. There you go.
You know, I really love that prediction because for those of you that don't know me, my favorite player is Harrison Smith. And so I really, really like that prediction because I want to see him become productive again because he hasn't been. So in this new defense, I'm super excited to see him start to be in the backfield a lot more. All right, guys. This is my fun one. All right. This one's nice. All right. So this one pertains to the Vikings offensive line.
Okay. Boy, this is about to be.
The average offensive line weight at the start of the season will be more than 320 pounds.
So are like all NFL teams we're saying?
No, for the Vikings.
Or just the Vikings.
So
the average Vikings offensive line player.
Weight.
Okay, I get
so
it.
Starters, are we going starters
so the
week
5
1?
starters. So the 5 week 1 starters.
Okay.
Add up their weights, divide it by 5, and if it's more than 320, I hit on this one. So.
I like that's
equal
really...
or more than 120?
No, more than 320.
Oh,
more than
so
320.
if it's
320
exactly
plus,
320, you don't get
then
it.
I don't get
okay.
it. Nope.
All right. Well, with that said, Big Lou has got his third and final one.
Oh, I can't remember what I did for this one.
It's the one about,
yes.
Yeah.
So, as you know, Sam likes Ryan right here, and he's a big, chunky punter, and it's kind of funny. So, I'm predicting that Ryan Wright's Madden overall will be between a 75 and a 77. He was a 73 last year. Upon release here.
Okay. That's an interesting one. Can't say I've ever heard of that one. All right, the next one I have is my final one, and it's a really long-winded one, but I'll try to explain to the best of my abilities. We were in history class the other day. I was with Sam, and I said, I got this prediction here. I could say or in the prediction, and it'll be like a nice completion, or I could go and that'll be like a nice touchdown pass. And he said go all in. So I went all in. So my prediction says Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson will both get contract extensions before Danielle Hunter's contract is touched, or he gets an extension before anything happens on his front. So he has $4 million base salary, which means that's all the money he's going to make, just that much money. He's worth more against the cap, but that doesn't matter to him. That matters to the team. So with that said, I think Justin Jefferson's going to get his contract extension between now or it'll be during training camp sometime around then. And then TJ Hawkinson, I think his will be first actually, but that'll be, I think, during the summer, probably before training camp. And Danielle, we don't know yet. Do I actually have one already about Danielle? Oh, I already got one there. Danielle will be extended or traded by the first preseason game. All right. So we'll see about that, but that was just kind of my long, lengthy one there is JJ and TJ will both have extensions before things happen with Daniil.
So, with Hawkinson, what's his contract length left?
He has 1 year left. He was drafted in 2019, the year before Justin Jefferson. So he's played 4 years, and this year is going to be his 5th-year option, which was exercised by the Lions when he was still on the team.
Okay.
So he is under contract for 1 year. Justin Jefferson, as of right now, is 2 years. 1 year is his rookie deal. The other year is also technically his rookie deal, but it's his 5th-year option. Okay. So it's an extension of his rookie deal. So he'll make $20 million. Justin will. I'm not sure about TJ. I can't recall right now what he makes or what he will be making. With that said, he can Google it if he wants, but I guess it doesn't really matter that much. He'll do it. So we'll find his contract specifics quick on TJ Hawkins so we can share that, and then we are going to head into trivia, and then that is going to wrap up today's.
TJ Hawkinson is set to make. Oh, jeez.
Go to contract. Yeah, there we go.
He's set to make $9.3 million this year.
So it's 9.3 against the. That's dead cap.
Yeah.
What? Wait, what is this?
But his cap is cap.
Oh, I was looking at last year's dead cap.
No, yeah.
I was looking at the wrong one.
Cap it, yeah.
And that is also the same number as his base salary. So he in his pocket will be making the same 9.4 approximately million. So that said, I'm gonna scroll now over a bit. There is the trivia section of our spreadsheet. Those are all the players we've done in the past. Sam has a very considerable lead over me. He absolutely swept last week or 2 weeks ago whenever we did it last.
I got one last week.
You're right. He almost swept the Blair Walsh one, which I still call bogus on, but whatever. It's in the past now. So with that said, Big Lou, this is how the rules are going to work. I'm about to pull out a piece of paper. It is kind of like 20 questions. We each get 5 questions, making it 10 questions in total. They have to be not necessarily yes or no, but they have to be in A or B format. So only 2 options. So only 2 options. Big Lou shares the answer, and then we have to figure out who the player is. Also, kind of interesting how it works. When one of us takes a guess, then if they get it wrong, they can't guess until the other player guesses. If you're confused, you'll understand it as we kind of move along the game. So here we go. I'll get out some papers, and we will get started.
You guys going rock, paper, scissors, or who started last?
You know what, Joel? Since I swept last time, you can start.
All right. Say no more. I'll rip you out the paper.
And I mentioned to these guys earlier, but to the viewers here, in addition to them also being past or present Vikings players, they also have another thing in common between all 3 of them.
So yeah, some players are current players, some players are former players that are still current in the NFL but now in Minnesota, or they're just a notable former Viking. Can be anything, but you can see the list right there on screen. So with that said, since it is me, I will kick us off. I gotta think here. First question is going to be, does this player currently play in the National Football League right now?
No.
I already have a guess at who it is.
Bro, we're one question in.
I know, but I already have a guess. Was this player an offensive skill player?
Yes.
Did this player retire from the NFL within the past 5 years?
No.
Okay. So we're 3 questions in. I'll just kind of share it every so often so you guys can recall, so you guys know.
Okay.
I already have an idea.
So do I. My idea hasn't changed since the first question.
You guys should be able to get this.
Can I ask how many yards from scrimmage this player had, or do I have to do an over-under?
It has to be an over-under.
Over-under.
Okay, did this player have more than... in any season, did this player have more than 1,500 yards?
Okay, I will have to check any season. I had his total up, but I did not.
So, for, what did you say it was again? Yards from scrimmage, is that what you said?
Total yards.
Total yards. So
passing,
that can
receiving,
be passing. Okay.
Rushing.
Like I said, so yards per scrimmage, I believe, doesn't count pass.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Yards from scrimmage is receiving and rushing.
I was just making sure.
So you're saying
total yards. Total yards. Did they ever have a season where they had more than 1,500?
Okay, I'm trying to figure out the stats because I'm only okay. Oh wait, here we go.
ESPN should have it.
Yes, I see it here. So
Well, him questioning this makes me question who I thought it was.
it said more than 1,500 yards
In any season.
in any season. No.
Ooh. Okay.
Let's just say they were a sucky Russian. Yeah.
Then maybe it's not the person I had in mind. That still could be. Ooh, I got one. Maybe this doesn't mean much, but I'll ask it anyways. Was this player drafted by the Minnesota Vikings?
No.
Okay, then it's not the player I thought. I was thinking of Franz Harkinson.
I was thinking of Adrian Peterson.
Oh.
The first,
I thought you were
four
thinking of
made
Randy
sense.
Moss, but
Oh, no, I was thinking of Adrian Peterson. Did this player have more receiving yards or rushing yards?
receiving.
Okay.
All right, we're 6 questions in now. Also, if we guess a player, it does not count toward the questions. Oh, this is a tough one. Did this player make the Pro Bowl in any season with the Vikings?
Yes, they did.
We 7
How many-
questions in.
seven.
Mm-hmm. This is tough. I really don't know.
If this is anything, they were in 8 Pro Bowls.
Oh, what? That
That
does mean something.
No, not this player.
It can't be Randy Moss, though, because he had more than 1,500 yards in a season.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Right?
Yeah, he has to have.
I can check that for you.
No, well,
Oh,
that
so
doesn't
it's
really
not
matter.
Randy
Though.
Moss. Okay.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't gonna be him anyways.
8-time Pro Bowler. Oh, boy. Offensive skill player. More yards receiving than rushing.
Oh,
8-time Pro Bowler.
I have a guess. Kind of a shot in the dark, but I have a guess.
I am lost right now. I have no idea who to guess right now. Okay.
Randy Moss had 1.
One season where he had more than 1,500? Okay.
That's it. Honestly, would have thought he had more.
Oh, that's just receiving.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like yards from scrimmage.
no, only 1.
What?
Dang, that's crazy.
In 2003, in 2007, he had 1493.
What about
and no
what
rushing.
about in '98? Because that was his rookie season, and
98, 13, 13.
Okay.
Was this player a wide receiver?
Yes.
All right. I have a guess. Should I just do it? Should I do it?
I would say
for
so because
Let's
I have
just
no
do it.
idea.
This player, I really have no idea if they were drafted by Minnesota or not, so I could be wrong about this one. Is this player Chris Carter?
It is.
Yes!
Aw.
That was honestly kind of a shot in the dark.
They were drafted by the Eagles in 1987.
They were drafted by the
But
Eagles.
He was drafted by the
CRIS.
Eagles in 1987 in round 4.
Okay.
Funny thing is, he only had 41 rushing yards his entire
Okay.
career.
Are you
He's also a
kidding me?
receiver, though, so.
Yep.
Yeah, but still, that's pretty impressive.
In 1998, he had -1 yards.
How many rushes did he have?
1.
Oh, okay, that's why. All right, so there we go. I got Chris Carter. That is, I believe, my third one of the year. So, with that said, Sam will be kicking us off now since I did last round.
Okay, player number 2. Is this player an offensive skill player?
No.
Okay.
Does this player play in the NFL right now?
No.
I have an idea already. I was thinking about it last time, too.
Did this player spend their entire career with the Vikings?
No.
Okay, that fits into the category of the player I had in mind. Did this player play on the defensive side of the ball?
Yes.
Okay, that still fits into what I had. Next round, I'm just taking a guess. I'm going to just do it.
Is this player anything except a defensive lineman?
Just ask,
No.
are they defensive?
Yeah.
Yes. Are
lineman.
they a defensive lineman?
The position listed is a defensive lineman. Yes.
Okay, that still fits into what I had.
I
got a guess. Is this player, I'm just going to take a guess here. Is this player Jared Allen?
Yes.
Yes!
What?
I'm on a roll today.
Yep.
Jared Allen. I was thinking him last round too, but then I thought he definitely didn't make 8 Pro Bowls, so no way it could have been him.
He is tied. There's only been him and one other person who's ever had a 2 safety season.
All right, we got one more. I
All
have to win this, otherwise Joel ties with me.
He's got, how many did we have last week? 3? 4?
We had
We did 5 that one.
5, I think.
Oh, maybe. Because I know
Or no, we did 4.
I think it was 2-2-0.
So we did. I think we did from
No, I think.
Harvin to Oliver, right?
Well, that could have been. That's 5. Dang, we did
Yeah.
a lot. All right. So with that said, we've got our third player, and I'm going to start off with the question I always start with: is this player currently play in the NFL?
No.
All right, we got 3 former players.
Well, that's what the thing in common is they don't.
Is they're not current? Is that
NFL
what it
players.
is? Is that they're not current?
Well, not really. I was thinking of someone else, but yes, that
Okay.
is included.
Did this player play defense?
No.
All right. Is this player a skill position on offense?
Define skill again for me, please.
Quarterback, running back, receiver.
Tight end.
Okay. Tight end too. Okay. Okay, you saying that actually might have helped.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
wait.
It might have.
The player I was thinking we might have guessed though. I was thinking Kyle Rudolph, but we already did him
Oh yeah, I got a different.
because it was a
idea.
tight end. So
Did this player ever account for more than 1,500 yards in a season?
from scrimmage.
Well,
To be
total
clear.
yards. I'm gonna say
Oh, total yards. That's
so
what I guess. What I
passing,
meant.
receiving, rushing.
More than 1,500.
More than 1,500.
Yes.
I got an idea.
Was this player? This might not help at all, but was this player drafted by the Vikings?
No.
Okay, then I was thinking of scrambling Fran
That's
again.
what I was thinking of.
And he was drafted by the Vikings, their first ever draft pick.
What is that? Number 4 or 5?
That was 5.
Well, that puts that one out the door.
Both the last 2, I had like kind of thoughts in my head of both those players. This time I don't.
Did this player ever play for Denver?
No.
Dang it.
I have another idea of a player, but
I was thinking
another
Case
long
Keenum.
shot. Oh, he's a current player though, isn't he? He's got to be.
I don't think so. I think he's done now. It's
Hmm.
okay, Big Lou. I'll look it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's with the Bills.
He's got to be like their third string.
He's 35.
'Cause they have Josh Allen, and didn't they have the former
He
Georgia
threw
quarterback?
for 8 yards.
No way. On
No,
probably one.
Stetson Bennett.
Wait,
went
go
to
down,
the
go down.
Rams.
Passer rating of 39.6 last
Oh my
year.
God.
Unbelievable.
So bad. He's thrown 78 touchdowns in his career and 48 interceptions.
That is terrible.
Ooh.
Still better than Nathan Peterman.
Nathan Peterman's stat line right there.
All right.
Well, I remember I was looking this up. What was that exactly?
Nathan Peterman?
He's got like it's like a 1-to-2 ratio of touchdowns to interceptions at least.
It's really bad.
That's
Joel.
All right, it is my turn, so I'm gonna say, did this player make any Pro Bowls when he was with the Vikings?
He's with the Vikings. I would have to look.
Do you have an idea?
Not really.
Because I don't at all.
I have an idea of a player, but this would be a really long shot, even longer than Chris Carter and Jared Allen were, I think, at least. forgot what my question. Oh, Pro Bowl. We've been sitting here so long. I forgot what I asked.
Yeah.
Again.
We need to get a computer guy.
I don't know, this is terribly hard to Yes, he did.
Well, that's 7 questions, and I still have no idea who this could possibly be. Did this player in their career have more catches or carries?
Carries.
Okay, then it's not the player I was thinking of. I was thinking of Anthony Carter, who's a
Oh.
receiver, but couldn't be him now. We should also make this clear since we are, I believe, 7 questions in. Maybe
I think
even
that's
8,
eight.
actually. Hold on. 3. We're 8 questions in. So this is what's going to happen. If we get to 10 questions, then we each get 1 guess, and if neither of us get it, then Big Lou gets the point. So
And
that's how it works.
I will give them a little more hints until they end up guessing it.
Yeah, then
Just
if
to
he
make it
gets
more
the point,
interesting,
if
I
he
get
gets
the
the point, then he gets the point, but then we'll just keep doing it just to figure out who it is, even though it's his point no matter what.
Then I can screw
So we're
up
8
it.
questions in, so this is going to be my last one, the 9th one. Did this player retire more than 10 years ago from the NFL?
Yes. I had to do a little math there for a bit.
Ooh, I got another kind of out. Ooh, this would be a surprising one, but you never. No, he definitely didn't make a Pro Bowl. So.
Is this player a quarterback?
Yes.
Oh, okay, then you never. That might actually change things.
Oh my god, I don't know.
So since he had the 10th question, doesn't that mean I get to go
Yes.
first? So I get a guess. If I get it, I get the point. But if I'm wrong, then he gets to guess, and then if he doesn't get it, then it's Big Lou's point.
Alright. I have my player.
Oh,
I think it is.
wait. I don't think they were. They definitely didn't. Oh, they retired. This is tough. You know what? Oh, man. This is a tough one. Tough cookie here, Big Lou. You came up with a good one.
Good. The other 2 were too easy for you.
Is this... I'll just do it. I don't think they retired over 10 years ago, but I'm just going to do this one anyways. Is this player... Oh, wait. I'm getting a rep. I might be changing my mind here. Is this player... All right, I'll say my other guess after you guys are done. Is it Brett Favre?
It is.
Oh my gosh. Yo, I clutched up. Okay, I was thinking Tavares Jackson. But then I was like, he didn't retire over 10 years ago, though, because he's still kind of recent, if you think about it.
He made 11 Pro Bowls. I just had to figure out if there was one with the
Oh
Vikings.
my god.
And then I was looking at this, quarterbacks. I was like, what notable quarterbacks? Because the Vikings really haven't had any historical notable quarterbacks other than Fran Tarkenton, I guess Kirk Cousins, and Brett Favre, and that's really it.
I was gonna say Christian Ponder.
He definitely
didn't have
didn't
a
make a Pro Bowl in
1500,
Minnesota,
yeah.
though. He only had one decent season.
They
that
were
was it.
all inducted in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
in the
All
same
3 of
year.
them.
Oh,
not in the same year, but all 3
Okay.
of them were all.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking Tavares Jackson, but I was like, he's still kind of a recent player, though. I don't think it's him. So
Joel
I swept Chris Carter, Jared Allen, and Brett Favre on the day.
I need to make these harder.
That one got close to the end, though.
Yeah, that one was tough.
Because, yeah, if I would have got it wrong, he said he was going with
Christian Ponder.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was going to go Tavares, but then I suddenly just had, like, a moment where I was like, yo, this could be Brett Favre, actually.
Brett Favre only had 1 season under 1,500.
Really?
And that was his first season in the league with the
Oh.
Falcons.
Because he probably didn't play
And
a whole lot at all.
Falcons?
Yeah, he was drafted
He didn't
in-
have a single yard.
He played in 92 and 93 with the Falcons. Then in 94, he went to Green Bay, was there through 2010.
8.
No, oh, yep, you're right.
Yep.
2008, then he retired. Then
then
he
he-
was with, I
the
believe, then he
Jets.
would have gone to the Jets for a year or
Minnesota.
two. Then he
He-
retired again. Then he signed with Minnesota, and then he
Yep.
retired for the 3rd time. Which
He
was
played
final
with the
time.
Jets during the 2008 season, then the Vikings from 2009 to 2010.
Yeah. Well, there you guys go. That is going to do it for
Yep.
today's episode. So like I said at the beginning, if there's things with Dalvin Cook, we might have like an emergency episode someday, maybe next week or a couple weeks from now, but we'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. Follow the social media pages. Otherwise, as far as filming dates beyond this week, we're really not sure where we're going to be going yet, but we'll try to communicate as much as possible so you guys can be around and watch. Well, that is going to do it today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Of course, leave a like and subscribe if you're new. We'll see you. Usually I say I'll see you guys next week, but we might not see you next week. But we'll see you guys. As always,